Hey guys, just bringing you the last of our crew interviews for the time being. I think you all know the drill by now, so I'm just going to go ahead and turn it over to Kacey and Braden.
So I'm kind of thinking that definitely since they've been on the Chimera and possibly even before then, Molly's just kind of regularly, like once or twice a week, just sort of monitors something about Dang eating, and it's usually something slightly different every time. So she can get just sometimes she's reading EMP waves, and sometimes she's trying to monitor his GI system, and sometimes she's such as it is. But she just sort of finds different, fairly non-intrusive, maybe there's electrodes on him or something, but it's not too painful or inconvenient. And then it's sort of like a weird version of an eating contest. Eat this, can you eat that? What happens when you eat that? Which do you prefer? And I don't think that she's been super clear about why she's doing this, except that it's very interesting to her. And that, I think very originally it was because when they met his horn was broken, right? It's broken now, but it was more badly damaged. And so she had to have a little bit of an understanding of what he needed it for and how it worked in order to be able to repair it usefully. But then she got the bug of just that's really interesting and strange, and I want to know more. So she's bugged him about it since, I think. So this is a long way of saying this happens fairly regularly. Would there be an area that Dang would sort of prefer to do this in, or hang out in when they're doing this sorts of monitoring?
I don't know. Which part of the ship is made of energy? Is that the Lion? That's
the
Lion.
Yeah.
So probably somewhere in the Lion.
That would make sense. Has Dang ever tried to eat the lion?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think he has. I think he's got enough sense to realize this is part of what holds the ship together.
Don't lick it too much.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so then they're probably in the Lion, which can fashion itself as whatever. So, Molly usually sets out a table and a couple comfy chairs, and then has brought in an assortment of energy producing things for Dang to eat. Some of which maybe he's never had before that she's recorded, and some of which he just kind of knows he likes. So there's a desk lamp today. There's probably that plasma rifle that Sidra had. She's got a little kind of torch thing that she'll use to shine into weird nooks and crannies. Trying to think what else. I don't know. What are some other things that he likes to eat?
Well, let's see. Probably in the past at some point while Molly and Dang were out and about, he's had to break open an electrical panel and just sort of just stick his horn into there for a second.
Okay.
And I wouldn't say that's a thing that he likes to eat, but it's probably something that'll do the trick.
Gotcha.
The Rooibans, Rooibos 4 is a very stormy planet, and Rooibans typically feed on lightning strikes, which emit broadband electromagnetic energy.
Gotcha.
And I'd say they probably can, if they're standing in the right spot, they can go for a few days on a lightning bolt strike.
So it's pretty specifically electrical energy that he eats. Is that?
No, it seems to be more more electromagnetic.
Okay.
Like photons.
Okay, gotcha. Can he eat sunlight? Can he stand out in certain just like kind of absorb it, or it has to be more focused?
If it was sunny all day, he could do that probably.
Okay. But he can't just like nip out into some sunlight and like hop back in
and recharge. No, not quite.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Well, depending on how close a planet is to a sun.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Gotcha. So Molly's kind of sitting down. She's probably just like asking to come by, or they've just sort of settled on a time that worked for both of them. And she's got some tea, and she's got her goggles on the top of her head, and she's got this notebook out that she usually has out when she's documenting stuff with him. That's a blank notebook, but with a little pen that she writes in, and nothing ever actually shows up when she writes, but it kind of like gets recorded digitally and gets uploaded as like a digital page. So it looks like she's not writing anything, but she can see what she's writing with her goggles. And
oh, fun.
She never gets like solid books, but she basically has like reams of digital notes.
Mm-hmm.
So she's got that out. And then there's some like little kind of boxy mechanism with a couple little wireless electrodes that are probably like waiting to be hooked up.
Mm-hmm. So Dang, at first when Molly suggested this, he was pretty skeptical, but Molly could tell that he was, once they got started with the readings and whatnot, she could tell that he was kind of used to this kind of thing. This was
right.
and he readily admits that, oh yeah, this is the pretty much the kind of stuff that that Quay's guys would subject me to. It's not as intensive or invasive, so it's fine.
Yeah, she's a little bit of an asshole. So Molly kind of waves and says, "Hey, Dang, what's up? How's it going today?"
Pretty good. Wish I didn't have to starve before I do these things.
Well, it's the one time we did it and you'd eaten stuff, you were kind of full after the first one. I know. You just got to pace yourself a little better.
Dang does get slow and grumpy when he hasn't had enough light to eat.
Yeah. I do appreciate you helping me out like this. You're a good sport.
You're the captain.
So just sit still for a sec. I'll just pop these on. She kind of puts like the electrodes basically on different points on his horn today, I think, kind of just sort of like around the base of it.
Mm-hmm.
And she sort of sits down and she puts her goggles on, switches to the electromagnetic spectrum, and just sort of scribbles in her notebook to make sure that's recording correctly, and says, "Okay, I think whenever you're ready, why don't we start with the desk lamp?"
Okay. He basically just kind of leans down and points, you would guess, about where the center of the tip of the horn would be, in the direction of the lamp. And the lamp to you appears to get a little bit dimmer.
Mm-hmm.
Although with your goggles you can see that the horn appears to be kind of almost a magnet for this energy.
Okay.
The light is being attracted into his horn.
So when he points his horn, does he like accommodate for space for where the rest of his horn would be, or does he lean in so that what's left of it is kind of what's in contact?
Not for a desk lamp. He wouldn't need to get too close for that.
Okay. So she kind of takes some notes and like sort of checks something on her hand and adjusts her goggles again so she can sort of see the recordings that the little electrodes are doing, and kind of flicks back again and says, okay, dealer's choice this time, whatever you want to try.
Got anything in the on the gamma end today?
Let me see what I got here. I have to look up what makes gamma rays.
Not much.
Not much.
Very high energy things.
So like, okay, lightning strikes.
Yeah, a lightning bolt will produce some gamma rays.
Okay.
Cosmic radiation. Cosmic rays will have some sparse gamma rays.
Well, so Molly will kind of think about it for a minute. Kind of scratch at her jaw. This is a slightly tricky one. I mean, she didn't. It's like asking to bring caviar to a pizza party, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she kind of looks up to the line and has a portion of the like the sort of gold patina that's around the space. It's transparent, but there's clearly like something there. It kind of slides away so that the barrier is completely transparent. And they're kind of coasting through a solar system with a fairly bright sun that can sort of shine down directly in and onto the table.
Mm-hmm.
And she asks, I don't know if that'll do it, but you can give it a shot.
Oh, sure, I can get a little bit from that. I don't have too much. It's early.
So I remember like you kind of mentioned offhand that you and Shoot had like eaten fireworks and it made you. It sounded like kind of intoxicated.
Oh yeah, good times.
So what are the things that you eat that make you that can like cause that effect as well as causing satiation?
You mean together?
Or just by. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, there's not much that makes gamma radiation that doesn't make every other kind of electromagnetic radiation.
Right. But then you have things that'll just get you drunk without really like giving you nourishment, basically.
Yeah, very few things. Quay had a few of those.
Like as rewards, as punishments, like what was his deal with that?
Well, there was one that was for reward, and there was he didn't use. He couldn't really use it as punishment on us. It was a what do you call it? What's the kind of weapon that blows up a city ship? It was one of those.
Oh, I mean, I think there's a couple, but that sounds maybe sort of atomic-y or, hydrogen bomby.
Yeah, probably.
That's great. Yeah, we've never really had a chance to talk much about Quay and, what was that like? Kind of living with him and working for him.
Well, Quay was nice to me and to Shoot. Yeah, he what was that phrase you used? He favored the carrot over the stick.
Okay.
Again with me and Shoot. Okay, I as I understand it, he that was an unusual relationship compared to his relationship with anybody else in the galaxy.
I think the history books would agree with that, the second half of it anyway. Why do you think he was that way with you and Shoot?
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to. I don't want to try to know what went on in that big brain of his.
Hmm.
I mean, even though it was visible, but it kind of seemed like he was a little bit afraid of us.
Hmm. That's interesting.
So I think he just wanted to be on our good side.
How old were you when you joined up with him?
Oh, I'm not quite sure. I don't remember any time before him. I suppose
Oh.
when I was a baby.
Hmm. And the same with Shoot.
Yeah.
Well, what was it like growing up as a kid with like Uncle Quay, I guess?
Oh, there was always stuff to do. It was usually pretty fun.
Well, like what kind of stuff?
Oh, see if you can blow up this robot. See how many robots you can blow up in this amount of time. You know, games.
Yeah, yeah. I'm noticing a theme here. You guys must have gone through a lot of robots.
Oh yeah. What else? Oh yeah. Always the best food.
Hmm.
I think I remember you telling stories about going over to your grandma's house and she just gave you too much food to eat. It was
Yeah, that was a regular thing.
yeah. That was every day with Quay.
Gotcha.
I suppose that's why I've got this big, he pats his back, gamma gut here.
Mm. Yeah. I didn't know they varied in size.
Oh, really? They
I mean, honestly, you're the only Reuben I've ever seen.
Oh, really? Oh, I gotta introduce you to Mag. He's a big time performance artist. Pretty much everybody else is back home, which is probably kind of dangerous for somebody like you. Without proper equipment and shielding and whatnot. But Mag, he's running around somewhere, doing his artsy fartsy thing.
So have you been back to Rubos since? I don't know. I guess since you left. How do I say this? You know, to the big explosion, and you're traveling through space unconscious for a really long time and whatnot.
Yeah, it was one of the first places I went. As soon as somebody pointed out that, oh, you must be from Rooibos 4, I tried to head over there and, you know, find some family, some kin or something. I guess I don't have any family there, but there's more like me. But they're kind of, yeah, they're not as big and beefy as me.
Okay. Well, what'd they think of you?
You know, they were very welcoming, kind, accepting. I wasn't really into that. It was a little too weird.
Gotcha.
And I had a hard time communicating with them because, you know, I didn't know the language.
How did you communicate before, like with Quay and Shoot?
Oh, I didn't really communicate with Shoot that much. And communicating with Quay was mostly yes or no. Or I like that or I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which was, he holds up his right tentacle and a little blue light appears on the end of it. This is good. His left tentacle, a red light. This is bad.
Gotcha.
But I mean the Rooibans, they have all kinds of crazy shapes and colors, and there's a whole part of their vocabulary dedicated to what parts of the light show they're putting on are symmetrical or not.
Oh, wow.
Because I guess the subtext or something is that if you're using both tentacles, that means that you're more focused on who you're talking to or what you're doing. Whereas if there's only one doing one thing, you don't know what the other one's doing.
Oh, is that like rude?
Kinda? I think. I can't remember.
So did you get to learn much of the language when you visited there?
Oh, a little bit. If you can imagine growing up not speaking and then being expected to hold a conversation about impressionist art.
I can see the conundrum there.
And honestly, that's all they talk about.
So they like their art there.
Oh, sure. I didn't really, I mean, it was all right. But it's kind of expected that you take part. It's like a, improv or something.
Okay.
Because, I mean, the art doesn't hang around. It's there and and then it's gone. And it took me a while to figure out that was kind of their whole viewpoint on life and the universe, is that I don't want to say it's why bother, but it's just sort of a that's okay, you know?
Okay. So very laid back.
Yeah.
Which isn't really your speed.
Nah. I like doing stuff. I like getting stuff done.
Yeah.
I like seeing the results.
Sure. What's your favorite stuff to do these days?
Oh, well, I've I discovered a little game in the Lion. Here, let me bring it up. He pokes his tentacles at a wall, and basically it's the phaser target practice from Next Generation with the little glowing lights that right. zip across the sky, and you have to hit them when they're a certain color. Okay. So he fires a little laser at one when it's red.
That's cool. Kind of cool.
Oh, and check this one out. It's a fighting program. And he pokes his tentacles again. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen a skeleton for 3D animation where it's just very, very low polygon, and it's like a head and a rib cage and a pelvis, and all these are made of like about 8 squares.
Right.
One of those shows up and takes up a little fisticuffs pose, and Dang starts to thrash on him with his tentacles.
Molly, looks more serious than I sound. She's like, oh yes, very interesting. Mm-hmm. Well, kind of trying not to giggle because it's a humped rhino man thrashing on a polygon. That's pretty cool. Have you got any new moves?
Nah.
just the good old ones.
Yeah, you thrash, you grapple, you squeeze it until it turns into squares.
Oh, cubing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a much cleaner version.
He scoops up he absorbs the little squares that he's made out of this polygon man.
Will you ever kind of miss the good old days with Quay?
He shifts his weight a little bit. He scratches his head. I mean, a little bit. I mean, when I was with Quay, it was always, I had a purpose, and it was really clear, and I knew whether I'd succeeded or failed. And that's kind of comforting to know what's expected of you, and and whether you're doing a good job or not.
Sure.
And I kind of know that I'm doing a good thing now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not always real clear.
No, that's true. It's harder when there's no one to tell you.
Well, I mean, you tell me.
Well, yeah.
I usually agree.
That's what I mean, grain of salt, right?
Yeah.
I tell you my opinion. I don't necessarily expect you to agree with it, although obviously most of the time I want you to.
Oh, sure. Hey, what else is on the agenda here?
Let me see, what else did I bring? Oh, the torch, but that's pretty dinky. I was gonna try some of those, some of that glowing lichen I found down kind of around where the Theron lives and the snake, but I'm not really sure. I don't know if that would do it for you. It's pretty weak light.
Oh, it's not a meal, but is that sort of blue-green glowing stuff?
Yeah, like the slightly fuzzy stuff that kind of hangs out on the walls.
Oh, yeah. That's like a real specific taste. I like it. It's kind of like, remember when you found those earth candies, the Sour Patch Kids?
Oh, yeah.
It's a little like that. It's a real specific taste.
So, you taste when you eat.
I mean, I guess that's how I've learned to describe it.
Where do you taste?
In my horn.
Oh.
I think it's he kind of rubs the top of his horn.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like on the gamma end, I taste it right here, like right in the very core of the right at the very center of the cross section circle.
Sure.
And at the radio end is more sort of out here.
Okay. And then anything in the middle is sort of spread out.
Yep.
Where do you feel full?
Oh, back here. He pats the hump of his back.
Makes sense. I don't know if I want to know this. I mean, humans eliminate waste that they've ingested from their food. Does eating light produce waste?
Oh, well, yeah. It's, he holds up his tentacle and the little blue light comes on.
Oh, I guess that makes sense too.
I mean, that makes it kind of extra satisfying when you fire a laser at somebody.
That just changed my whole understanding
It's
Dane's pyrotechnics.
It's partly light and it's partly, exhaling. He he snorts out through the two big nostrils.
Gotcha. I think that's everything I brought to eat. Any requests for next time?
Well, I've been reading up on different devices that emit different frequencies. Because I'm a little bit of a foodie,
right?
And there's like an old Earth technology. I mean, it's other people have made similar things in the galaxy, but Earth people call it a ham radio.
Oh,
I think that'd make for a nice little meal.
Molly kind of takes a couple notes. Man, I haven't seen one of those in forever, but I'll keep my eye out.
Would you? That'd be great. You're the best, Captain.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks. I mean, I appreciate you doing this. I know it's sort of a pain in the ass.
Ah, no, that's fine. I'm used to it.
She kind of leans over and um, turns off the little machine and pops the 3 electrodes off and sort of sets them down. Says, cool. I think we're all done here this time. Thanks again. That was awesome. I can't wait to look over this. If you want to look over any of this, I'm happy to throw it up on a screen for you too.
Oh, okay. You take care of yourself, Captain.
All right. Talk to you later, Dang. Cool.